So first of all, welcome to the first of what is going to be many events that we're doing in New York City between now and November to fight against Democrat socialism takeover in our city. Not in our city, not in New York. Do you agree with me? The movement to stop Mamdani and his socialist agenda begins today. Welcome to the first rally of what's going to be many. Listen, before we officially get started, I just wanted to make a couple of announcements and a little bit of, housekeeping. First and foremost, and you rarely have to say this to conservative-minded people, so I doubt I'll have to, let's leave the park today cleaner than how we found it. Nothing on the ground, no messes. That's not who we are and that's not what we do. Obviously, absolutely no violence of any kind today is welcome or permitted, or any hatred of any kind. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. Even if we were to have counter-protesters who provoke, we do not engage. We do not commit violence. We don't do anything like that. So I also want to let you know, over on our tables over here, we've created some really great literature for all of you. This one here is a rat card called The Lies of Democratic Socialism. On the front and the back, it breaks down some of the biggest promises that are being put forward by the Democrat socialists. Things like rent freezes, free buses, government-run grocery stores, sanctuary cities, decriminalize all drug use. And then it also breaks down the truth, the lie of democratic socialism. Feel free to grab these, pass them out everywhere. Leave them on the subway, leave them on the bus, give them to people in the grocery store. These are for you. These are tools for you to use, to pass, to educate people. Use them. Here's another thing. We have these cards. They're in packs of 50. They are kind of expensive, so we do actually charge for these because they cost us a lot to print. But on one side, it says, you've been invited to WalkAway, and it's got a QR code. If they scan the QR code, it takes them to learn more about the WalkAway campaign and how they can join us in this movement to walk away from the radical left. On the back side, it says, are you registered to vote at your current address? If they scan this QR code, it will take them to a page where they can enter their address and register to vote online. These are available in packs of 50 and packs of 100, so take advantage of that, okay? And with that, you can find out at the table right over here. With that, we're going to kick off the rally with an amazing speaker, a young lady I've known for years. She actually interned for WalkAway about, 6-7 years ago. She impressed me so much because she is impressive and amazing. You can catch her all the time on Newsmax, Fox News, and everywhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Briana Lyman.
Hi, everybody. Hold on. Gotta make sure you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Wonderful. Okay, Brandon, first, thank you so much for letting me be the first person to speak. The bar is definitely set high for the other speakers here, so I'm nervous to be before them. I promise I am not going to bore you guys with something super nerdy, but I am going to start off with a quote from 1795 from Alexander Hamilton, because we are in New York. He said, "A government must be fitted to a nation as much as a coat to the individual. What may be good at Philadelphia may be bad at Paris and ridiculous at Petersburg." So what Hamilton meant is that not every people is suited for the same type of government, right? Just like my shirt does not fit Brandon, the type of government that I'm best suited to live under may not be the best type of government that Brandon is best suited to live under, although we do both actually live under a republic. The bottom line is, government is not a one-size-fits-all. Now, in America, we live in a Republican form of government. That is a small r Republican, not Republican Democrat, Republican, okay? Just because that works for us here doesn't mean it works for the people in Germany, in China, in Ghana, wherever. Why? Because to live in a republic, you have to subscribe to a certain set of values and principles and philosophies. And if the people do not share those values, they can't live in a republic. Nothing wrong with that. So what is a Republican form of government? Well, as the founders understood it, rights do not come from the government. Rights come from human nature and reason. God gives you those things, and no government can take them away, and no government can give you those things, okay? Life, liberty, property. Everybody has those rights, whether they are in here or halfway across the world. Not everybody has a government that protects those rights. We do, though, because we are in a social compact with one another, saying government is there to protect and facilitate the enjoyment of our rights. That is it. Now, to be clear, the founders believe government does not give you rights. Government protects rights. And that brings me to Mamdani. So Mamdani is a radical socialist. He does not support just bad policies. He fundamentally supports a different vision for the United States. He supports things that are at odds with the founders' vision for America. He believes in socialism. Socialism rejects the philosophical underpinnings of this country. Socialism says, oh, no, 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 you don't have natural rights. The government gives you rights. But a government big enough to give you rights is a government big enough to what your rights? Take them away, right? That's a big problem. Mamdani says that you can have a right to housing or a right to a certain price good at a government-run grocery store. But there's a lot of problems with that, right? Let's look at the biggest one. If you endorse, like Mamdani did in 2020, the forcible seizures of luxury condos to give to homeless persons, you are redistributing someone else's property. That is not just radical. That is a rejection of the principles of this country. That makes him unfit to be in the Republic as a public servant, which is why I bring it back to Hamilton. Not every person is fit to live in a republic. Doesn't make them a bad person necessarily. Maybe they're better off under a monarchy or a theocracy or a military dictatorship. But if you cannot live under a republic, you cannot hold office in a republic. And we have forgotten that. We have convinced ourselves that every idea deserves a seat at the table, and we must reclaim the clarity of the founders, and we must reject that. And we must say no. Not every idea belongs in a republic. Marxism, socialism does not belong in a republic. And if you believe those things, you need to go somewhere else. Because America is a republic, and America needs to stay a republic. So you must reject Mamdani this November if you want New York City to endure, and if you want America to endure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Briana. Our next speaker today is a New York City activist and political commentator. He's amazing. Follow him on X. Amazing guy. His name is Aal Yakobi. Aal, bring it on up. And tell the people what they need to hear.
Thank you everyone for showing up and making sure that New York City actually stays the city that we all want it to be. As we head into the election, the most important thing that I want to start out with is that everyone has to show up to vote. That's the most important thing at the end of the day, is everyone tells their friends, their family members to all show out to vote. When you look at this upcoming election, you see the debate stage where Zoran, where I'm going to quote that he's a snake oil salesman, is he presents himself as one way, but if you actually look at what he said and his actual policies on his X account, he is not just a socialist. He's a self-described communist who wants to abolish the police, seize private property, take the means of production. So if we want a city that maintains the metropolis that I think we all love, we can't have someone who comes in and kicks out anyone who simply wants to earn a living. When you look at the polling numbers, it wasn't the working class who came out to vote for Zoran. It was the elites that don't understand that the working class people can't be taxed 60-70% and then still afford groceries. And so we look at this city, it's critical that everyone speaks out in terms of who Zoran really is. And there's a radical communist who wants to kick out anyone who wants to earn a living, anyone who simply wants a free city where we don't have dangerous subways, where we don't have rallies in the streets defaming private property, defaming public property, where we want a police force that we can be proud of. So my final message is, if anyone does want to save the city, they have to show up and vote this upcoming in November in the election, and tell all their friends, their family members to show up and vote. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Maron.
Thank you, Brandon, for gathering this wonderful group of people here, and thank you all for being here and staying out, even though it started to drizzle on us a little bit. Drizzle is not going to keep us away. We have a precious little amount of time between now and November 4th when we can make an enormous change in our leadership in this city. And I know we're here to talk about how terrible a Mayor Mamdani would be, and believe me, that would be deeply, deeply terrible for our city. But the bad guy that I am trying to get rid of has been here longer and doing things that make our city worse for a longer time. I am running for Manhattan District Attorney against Alvin Bragg. Nothing to brag about, I like it. Listen, I'm going to tell you something you already know. He is a terrible prosecutor because he doesn't know how to be a prosecutor. He wants to be a social worker or a criminal's best friend. He wants to be a hand holder or a head patter or a second chance or third chance or fourth chancer for people who should be prosecuted for the violent crimes that they're committing. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you the good news now. We know how to make our city safer. We have done it in the past, and we have done it in the recent past. Alvin Bragg, the day he got into office, wrote a memo, his day one memo. And in that memo, he said all the things he would not do. He was not going to prosecute resisting arrest. He was not going to prosecute fare evasion. He was going to pretend that felony robbery was a misdemeanor whenever he could. Right? That is a prosecutor saying there are whole classes of crimes I just won't prosecute. And now we know what that looks like. It makes our streets less safe. It makes our subways less safe. It shuts down businesses because you can't afford to keep goods on your shelves if people can come in and clear them off and walk out of your store without paying them. And when you call the police, you find out there's very little they can do because the person, even if they arrest them, will be back in your store stealing your goods the very next day. So Alvin Bragg, we can say this about the guy, he's a man of his word. He said he was going to do that, and he did it. And he has made our city less safe. But the good news is, on November 4th, we have the chance to get rid of him. And if you elect me to be your next district, Manhattan District Attorney, I will tear up that day one memo and throw it away because we know what safety looks like in the city, and we know how to get there. You can vote against Alvin Bragg singularly. It does not matter. We can get rid of this man in Manhattan because he is not going to make our streets safer. He is not going to make our businesses safer. He is not going to make our subways safer. It's time to fire Alvin Bragg. Thank you again. I don't know who Brandon has lined up to you, but let me say one final thing as Brandon comes back up here. I met Brandon several years ago when I was still a Democrat, by the way. And I am now running as a Republican, on the Republican and the conservative line. But I gotta say this. There are Democrats all over this city who are good people, hardworking people, business-owning people, people who need and want a good, safe city. In order for us to have the leadership we want, we can walk away from the current leadership who has made such bad decisions, but what we need to do is stand together as the disillusioned Democrats, the Republicans, the conservatives, the independents, the folks that we haven't even registered yet, all of us. We have a huge coalition of New Yorkers who can come together and vote for better leadership. So on November 4th, I'm asking for your vote. My name is Maud Maron. Please check out our website, maudformanhattan.com. Thank you all for being here on this very humid day.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have obviously more speakers coming up. Just wanted to let you know we're passing out these signs right now. The reason why that same chant you just did on Newsmax a minute ago, after a couple more speakers go, I'm going to have you guys gather in nice and tight, hold your signs up. We're going to chant WalkAway, and I'm going to make a video of all of you. So I'm going to pass these out. Make sure you take it. In the meantime, let's hear from our next speaker, Kevin Smith.
What's going on, Manhattan? Guys, I did not sit in 2 hours of traffic from Long Island for that. I said, what's going on, Manhattan? So my name's Kevin Smith. I'm the founder of The Loud Majority. Some of you have been to our events before, and I want you to know that from Montauk to Manhattan, everyone is coming together to stop Zoran Mamdani. This is not Democrat. This is not Republican. This is a danger to this country. This is a danger to New York City that we will never come back from, because this is the test case. If they can win here, they will do it in cities all over America, and once that happens, as we're seeing in many European countries, you don't come back from it. That cannot happen. Look, guys, I do activism all over the country, and every time I go anywhere, everyone says the same thing to me. What the hell is wrong with the people of New York? What is going on? Alvin Bragg, Zorhan Mamdani, the crime all over the place, the crazy protesters at college campuses. What are you doing? And I look at them with shame. And I say, New York is the greatest city in the world. It is the capital of the world. And right now, we are the laughing stock of America. And that kills me. That kills me to go to Atlanta, Georgia, and Los Angeles and Chicago and have everybody laughing at the New Yorker. That kills me. So what can you do? What can you do to stop this? Guys, there are a myriad of ways. Number one, registering new voters. You want to vote twice? Go register somebody to vote. I promise you there are people in your family, there are people that you know who have never... Hey, crackhead Barney's back. At least she's wearing clothes this time. When we were down at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, she came basically naked. It was horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. But guys, how do you do this? In your particular neighborhood, wherever it is you may live, register those voters. Go to the parks, go to the boardwalks, go to the beaches. Talk to the people out there. This is the first step. This is not the last step. We've done it all over the country. In Pennsylvania, we're doing it in New Jersey for Jack Ciattarelli. We're doing it everywhere. But we need more Republican voters in this city, because each and every one of you knows 20 people who are now voting for Governor DeSantis, who are now voting for Governor Lee, who are voting in North Carolina. They're gone, and we need to replace those voters. That's the only way we are going to survive as a city. So anybody who doesn't know exactly how to do this, please sign up with Brandon in the WalkAway movement. Come up to me. I'll give you my personal number just as long as you're not her. I will come to your neighborhoods, and we will do this. We will do it together, because we are the luckiest people in the world who get to decide for ourselves the government we have. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. Share all the content and volunteer with WalkAway, and let's save New York City. Stay loud.
What I did not expect to be on my bingo card today was a black woman dressed up as Donald Trump and in an orange prison suit pulling her breasts out at my rally. But you never know what you're going to get with WalkAway, so all are welcome. We love it. And sweetheart, we hope you walk away one day. Does everybody have a WalkAway sign? All right, we're going to be doing this in just a second. Listen, we have a very special guest as our next speaker. I want you to know that we extended an invitation to every mayoral candidate to come today and speak, including Zoran Mamdani. I do want to let you know that Curtis Sliwa did respond and expressed his regrets that he had an engagement at the Dominican Day Parade today. But Jim Walden is here with us today, one of the mayoral candidates. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome Jim Walden to come and speak. Thank you very much.
Everyone, thank you. My name is Jim Walden. I'm the true independent candidate for New York City Mayor. If you haven't heard about me, you will, because our race has just started. And I come here to embrace something that everyone can embrace: democracy and capitalism. The two greatest innovations in the history of the world. The thing that solved problems and created economies and created equality all over the world are democracy and capitalism. And those are two things fundamental to New York City. We are New Yorkers first, fiercer than subway rats, stronger than Hurricane Sandy. We have come together to say we need a city that gives an answer to the 33-year-old socialist with the paper-thin resume, because he is only the messenger. There is an organized group behind him that wants to take over the capitalist system and replace it with something that is fundamentally un-American. And as long as I live and breathe, I will not let it happen in the city. I will fight every single day. But we can't just throw stones and expect that that's going to solve the problem. We have Mamdani today. There will be another one. There was Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. There was Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe. There is always a messenger. We have to have a message of unity and inclusion where our free market is unleashed. Is it any surprise to you that people are looking for a solution when we think about the problems that we have in this city that should have been solved generations ago, we have to give a bold free market solution. Our Democratic Party for 12 years has stifled business, overregulated. You want to open up a bodega in Bed-Stuy, you will need permits thicker than Manhattan gridlock. We have a housing crisis that has been going on so long, I think it sounds more like the Middle East crisis. It's been here since I came to this city in 1993. It takes 4 years to get shovels in the ground when we need 50,000 rent-stabilized units every single year. 50,000 new units, and the best we can get out of our corrupt mayor is 5,500. I started my career in this city as a federal prosecutor, and for 10 years I fought the mob, and we crippled them. And then I moved to private practice, and I could have stayed in my lane, and I chose not to. For 23 years, I fought for people from every walk of life. Cops, firefighters, teachers, school kids. I didn't do it because I was trying to get elected. I was doing it because it was the right thing for a lawyer to do. And now I stand here before you saying that out of every candidate in this race, I have the broadest tent. I want Mamdani supporters in my tent. I want MAGA supporters in my tent. I already have them because I offer a vision of free market progress and prosperity. Everyone's shooting for affordability. How about if we shoot for something bolder? How about if we have a more ambitious form of leadership? How about if we release the free market to solve the problems that we have? Because if you look on my website, I distinguish myself in many ways, and that's because I've worked for 30 years on these very issues, and I know how to get them solved, and I didn't just talk about it, I put it in writing with data on my website. Every single problem that it matters to you, there's a solution to it. You just don't have political leadership that's willing to get the job done. And that's the problem. That's why Zorhan Mamdani exists, because we've had terrible political leadership. It is time to walk away from politics as usual. It is time to walk away from either of the parties and choose independence that is based on competence and integrity. And as mayor, I am going to get corruption out of City Hall once and for all. And these problems that we faced for generations, I'm going to get them solved. And I'm going to work 20 hours a day to do it. So thank you for coming. Please look at my website, jim4nyc.com. And whatever you do in November, do not choose Mamdani or one of the agents of the problems that we're facing right now. Because honestly, the only two change agents in this race are me and Curtis Sliwa. So if you're going to choose a change agent, not politics as usual, and not extremism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim Walden, for being a part of this today. I know that you're very, very busy and you have a lot going on today, so we appreciate you making time. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak with all of you now, and as soon as I'm done, we're going to do the walkaway chant. So I'm going to ask you a favor. If you could all get in nice and tight. Ladies, can you get in the front? Unless you don't have signs. If you don't have signs, get signs. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, as many of you probably know, 7 years ago, I made a decision to walk away from the Democratic Party that I had supported my entire adult life. I was a two-time Barack Obama voter, and I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. I know. But I soon saw that the party that I had been supporting my entire life and the media that does their bidding had become radicalized and unrecognizable to me. I could no longer support this party, and I could no longer support the direction that it was headed. So I started a movement for people to walk away from the political left, from radicalism, from the Democratic Party, from liberalism, leftism, and yes, socialism, and the left-wing media that's lying to and deceiving us all. As of today, more than 750,000 people have joined the WalkAway movement, and tens of thousands have shared their videos and written testimonials with us, telling us why they too can no longer support this party. Many of you know that 4.5 years ago, I was brutally targeted by the Biden regime. The FBI raided my apartment, put me in handcuffs, and took me to jail. I was charged with crimes that I did not commit, connected to being on the Capitol grounds on January 6th. I was treated like a third-class citizen in my own country, and my own government sought to destroy nearly every aspect of my life. It was terrible, it was brutal, but I survived, and I persevered. And as of today, I am back, and I am back to fight like hell to get as many people to walk away from the Democratic Party as I possibly can. Early this year, I received a presidential pardon from Donald Trump. That pardon, thank God, negated the accusations that were made against me by the government, because it freed me up to say that the misdemeanor plea deal that I signed was complete and total lies created by the government. But that pardon did something else as well. It made me, for the first time in 4 years, free to be able to leave the state of Nebraska, where the government held me on federal supervision for 4 years, and return to the city that I love more than anything in the world. When I graduated from high school, I moved to New York City because I could not wait to be a part of what I think is the greatest city on the entire globe. I came here because I wanted to live an artist's life, because I wanted to pursue acting and singing and be a part of the heartbeat of New York City and everything that makes it great. I love this city so much, and I will do anything I can to make sure that it remains the greatest city in the world. When I heard that Zoran Mamdani had won the presidential primary for the Democrat Party, I knew immediately the time is now. Move back to the city that I love and fight this guy as hard as I possibly can. We are starting today a movement. A movement is beginning in New York City to stop democratic socialism dead in its tracks. What Zoran Mamdani has done, and listen, I'm not here to bash his character, I'm not here to bash his religion or his background. I recognize that Zoran Mamdani has captured the interest and the attention of many people in Gen Z, many people in minority communities, and a lot of people think that he is the answer to their problems. Why? Because the pain points that he's talking about are very real. New York City is unaffordable for people. Rents are too high. Groceries are unaffordable. The struggle is real in New York. But there's just one problem. Democratic socialism takes vulnerable people and lies to them and tells them that the government will solve all of their problems. It tells them, oh, but if only you give the government more power over your housing, over your electricity, over your groceries, over your transportation, over your education, over your health care, over your child care, we will fix all of your problems. Let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. When is the last time you woke up and thought to yourself, thank goodness for the government, they really fixed that problem? Never. It's never happened. And you know why? Because democratic social, forget the democratic, it's horse shit. It's just a Trojan horse. It's false marketing. This is soft communism. I'm not going to say democratic socialism. It's just plain socialism, which is a fancy way of dressing up communism. And communism and socialism have never succeeded. They've always failed everywhere they've ever been attempted. Oh, but Brandon, how can you possibly say that? Look at Medicare, Brandon. Look at the post office, Brandon. These are all versions of socialism, and they're very successful. That is a lie. That is not true. We do have government-run programs, and we do have government-funded safety nets in this country, but they are nothing more than that. Our safety nets were always intended to be systems to help people get back on their feet when they have hard times and continue to participate in a capitalist system, which is what the United States of America is. They were never meant to be dependencies that people remain on for the rest of their lives and remain on generationally and pass on to their children and their grandchildren and create an environment where people become dependent on the government for everything. Because we know that when you put the government in charge of every aspect of people's lives, it crushes their soul. It crushes their creativity. It crushes their will. It crushes their freedom. It crushes their drive to be everything that they were meant to be in this world. It makes them mindless drones who are dependent on the government. We cannot allow this in New York City. These systems will fail and they will crush and kill the city that we love so much. I want to tell all of you, everyone here, you are the best of the best in New York City, and I'm not just saying that. I am not just saying that. You are the people who come out and you show up when you are needed. You are the people who get out of bed, get dressed, and show up where the fight is. That's why I need you from this point forward. This is not a one-day event. This is not a one-time only thing. We are going to be holding rallies and events, I want to get to the point, on a weekly basis between now and November. They're not just going to be in Union Square. They're going to be all over Manhattan. They're going to be in the Bronx and Staten Island and Brooklyn and Queens, right? In addition, I need an army of volunteers who will go out canvassing with me to knock on doors in areas where people need to get our message most, who will go with me to college campuses and college dorms and talk to young college kids and let them know, we understand. Let me tell you one more thing about this. I have been interviewing so many college kids over the last couple of months, and you know what they tell me? They say, I don't believe I'm ever going to be able to own a home. I don't believe I'm ever going to, I'm emotional right now. I don't believe I'm ever going to be able to get out of student loan debt. I don't believe that the American dream is attainable for me. And then they've got someone like Zoran Mamdani coming in and saying, I hear you, and we're gonna make everything free for you, and the government's gonna take care of all of this. We're gonna give you that dream. The government's gonna give you that dream. And these kids are young and they say, sounds good to me. Because I feel like I did everything right and I feel like I'm drowning in debt. We need to educate these kids and say, listen to me. If you think your problems are bad today, if you think the future seems scary, you have no idea what a scary future looks like until you've lived under Democrat socialism. Ask these women who came today from communist China, who fled communist China so they could be a part of the American dream. Ask them about socialism. And so I need an army of volunteers to help me. Please, not right now, don't go running over to the table. When this event is over today, please, I am begging you, every single one of you, please, literally every one of you, go to our table, sign up for our sheet, give us your email address and your phone number. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to send you pictures of myself in bed. I might send you pictures of the black woman dressed as Trump, but But what I am going to do is contact you and ask you to show up for our events and show up to help us if you're willing to volunteer. Will you do that for me? Will you sign up? Great. Let me wrap up my speech. We have a couple more speakers, and then we're going. Oh, do you guys know we're doing a live debate after this right here in the Union Square? All right, stick around for that. So we're going to do the WalkAway chant. Everybody out there, can you get in nice and close? Everyone, step up close. Get nice and close. Where's Paul? Can you push everyone in nice and close, please? Nice and close. You know how to do the chant, so now I'm going to explain to you how the video will work. So the way the video works is like, and by the way, people love this, so you guys are going to be huge stars. So you're going to start chanting WalkAway, like walk away. Oh, hold your signs up. There's always one person who has it upside down, so let's see. Wow, they're smart in New York. Everyone's smart in New York. All right, so when you start chanting WalkAway, I'm going to take my camera. I'm going to pan it all the way from left to right. And then I'm going to pan it all the way from right to left. And you're going to keep chanting, WalkAway, WalkAway. And then after I go all the way right and all the way left, I'm going to bring the camera back center. And then I'm going to go like this. And that means you all just go, woo! You just go crazy, right? Is everybody ready? Okay. WalkAway, 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 WalkAway. Walk away, walk away, walk away, walk away, walk away, walk away, walk awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Come on up, Betsy McCaughey, the former Lieutenant Governor of New York.
Thank you. So good to be with you. I'm so glad we're here to fight for our city, NYC. Now, you all know how bad Mamdani is. You know how bad he is, what he threatens. I'm here with a solution, not just the problem. How about a solution? Ray Kelly, the longest-serving police commissioner in New York, Mr. Safe Streets himself, and I have launched SaveNYC.org. I'm going to repeat it. SaveNYC.org, 7 letters, SaveNYC.org. You can come see us on our website. And what are we doing? We're acting now. We're acting now. We're not waiting till fall. We're not waiting to see who drops out of the race. That's baloney. Nobody's going to drop out. We are launching an effort now to damage Mamdani before he gains more momentum, before he becomes iconic in the eyes of our young people. We're going to damage him now with a two-pronged strategy. We're launching a field operation in all 5 boroughs. That means door knocking. Mamdani brags that he knocked on 1 million doors to win the primary. We're going to out-knock him. We're going to knock him in all the areas where likely anti-Mamdani voters live. And we're starting beginning of August, not September or October, right now. And we're going to register voters. I love that line somebody said earlier, if you want to vote twice, register a voter. That's the way to do it, right? And secondly, we're going to go on social media with the kind of messaging that will reveal the dangers of Mamdani, because the kids don't know, right? They literally don't know. And we're using the firm that took Vivek Ramaswamy from an unknown to a household name. They know how to help us. We need the experts now. So we're raising money to do that. We're going to be out in the field in August, right? And let me share with you why we are going to win this. Everybody keeps telling you we can't win unless somebody drops out. That's not true. Please, sir. We can win even in a crowded field. Mamdani got 462,000 votes in the primary. That's a winning number if the turnout is 21% like it was in the last mayoral election. But turnout was 57% the year Giuliani won. It was 60% the year Dinkins won. It was 80% the year Lindsay won. And it's generally above 60% in New York City in a presidential year. So asking for 50% turnout, aspiring to that, is a very reasonable goal. And here's what happens if turnout is 50%. If turnout is 50%, the winning number is not 462. No, Mamdani isn't going to win. The winning number is 582,000. That's 4.7 million voters divided by 50% turnout divided by 4 candidates. Whoever gets 582,000 wins, right? And it won't be Mamdani. He's peaked out. So if we get the turnout up, we can win. Just remember, this is about turnout. It's not about somebody dropping out. It's about turnout. And turnout is in our hands. We've got 4 months and a lot of energy to get the turnout up. So join SaveNYC.org. SaveNYC.org. Don't forget it. Join with us. We're going to work with WalkAway to win this election, not for any particular candidate. We're winning it for you. We're winning it for New York. We're winning it for all of us. Thank you.
All right. I believe, well, sort of, I'm not going to say final, because I think I might have 1 or 2 people to make a few comments. I'm really impressed with this young man who's our next speaker, and I think you guys are going to be too. I only met him about a week ago. He's 17 years old, and he's deeply concerned about New York City and the socialist threat. In addition to that, and he'll probably tell you, he is the youngest columnist in America. He's written for the New York Post, the Gateway Pundit, Red State, and look, he'll tell you. But please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gregory. Tell me, I'm melting. Tell me your last name.
Lykoff! Gregory Lykoff!
How is everyone today? First, want to start off by saying thank you to Brandon for inviting me and thank you for organizing this rally. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you. I want to start off my speech by mentioning my family lineage. I am the son of Soviet immigrants. My parents immigrated from the USSR. My mom is from Ukraine and my father was from Russia now. That's very comical, but they used to be close. My parents stood in the bread lines Mamdani will bring into New York City. My parents stood in the situation where we couldn't get any food in for home for my family's history. We had housing crises in the Soviet Union. We had a shortage of food. We couldn't eat anything other than, stale bread. This is what Mamdani will bring to the city. This is what communism looks like. And that's why my parents escaped to the greatest country on earth, the United States of America, to build up a history for themselves and to raise 5 successful children. I had the privilege. Thank you. I had the privilege of being raised in this wonderful country, but my life was not always full of success. For 16 years of my life, I had undiagnosed ADHD and OCD. That meant that I was a failing student. I couldn't read and I couldn't write. Only last year did I finally get diagnosed and my entire life changed. I read my first book called The Case for Israel by now my mentor, Alan Dershowitz. Then, after that, I found my passion for politics and I became what I am today. I want to first off say that the reason why I am so passionate about making a difference is because of what my people have experienced in the last 2 years after the October 7th attacks. After a conversation yesterday with Alan Dershowitz, I first was not planning on discussing anti-Semitism today, but then I realized how important the situation is. Mamdani doesn't condemn the phrase Antifada. For anyone who doesn't know what that means, there were 2 Antifada uprisings in the Jewish history. Both of them resulted in thousands of deaths to Jews just because they were Jewish. Not only that, but Mamdani acknowledges that for some people, Antifada means the killing of Jews, and he still decides not to condemn it. How can we elect a mayor who doesn't condemn the killing of Jews in the biggest city that holds the biggest amount of Jews outside of Israel? How can this happen? It's because of the radical left, and it's because of what they normalized. Mamdani himself is normalizing anti-Semitism. That's why we see the people being locked up in libraries on college campuses, including my 2 sisters who attend NYU, being locked up and prevented from entering their own campuses because there's pro-Palestinian protesters that want to kill them just because they're Jewish. That is the biggest issue that we have. To go back to my story, though, of having undiagnosed ADHD for 16 years, being a failing student and not being able to read, the thing that failed me most was not my parents, was not the books, was not ADHD or the doctors themselves. It was the public school system that didn't acknowledge that I had ADHD for 16 years. I had C's and D's on every single report card in the last, 16 years, up until last year. And still the public school system did nothing about it. You see, New York is special in that it has a way out for children like me. School choice. This is by far the most important issue of my generation. It is the civil rights issue of my generation. School choice allows children who are attending failing schools in neighborhoods like Harlem, New York, the Bronx, and all over New York City. School choice allows them to attend a charter school that has an over 83% success rate compared to their normal public school they're assigned to that has a 0% acceptance rate. Mamdani is fundamentally opposed to school choice. He wants to take the very thing that would have saved my 16 years, my first 16 years of my life, he wants to take that away from the thousands of students that rely on it. I hope that we could finally make a difference. I hope he will not be the next mayor of New York City. But if he is, just know, guys, Florida is a wonderful option. Ron DeSantis is one of the greatest governors. So I think this crowd in its majority will move to Florida. Florida, yes, Florida, Miami. but let's save our city first before we give up on it. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Follow him on X. This guy's he's churning out articles. He already put out 3 articles about this rally this week. Red State, Gateway Pundit. He's amazing. Okay, so I have a gentleman named Steve Gillen who's going to come up here and make an announcement about a petition that he would like you to sign. When we get done with that, we're going to quickly pop up tables to begin the live debate. Stick around for that. In the meantime, listen to Steve. Don't leave while he's talking. But when Steve's finished, we're going to play some music. Every one of you go to that table and sign up for the sign-up sheet so I can get in touch with you for our future events and for you to be able to volunteer. If you don't, I will find you and you will be in a world of hurt. Okay? Steve!
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Steve Gillen. I'm from Project Civica. We're a New York State organization, a nonprofit, and we're very involved in all aspects of voter integrity and elections. I think we all are aware and we know for a fact that our elections aren't run the way they should be run. There are people are voting that should not be voting. Federal law, the Constitution, everybody says that you have to be a citizen to vote. So there's a national effort that's going on right now, and that national effort is to sign a petition. You'll see people walking around, and it's for the SAVE Act, all right? It's to get the SAVE Act passed. The SAVE Act is a piece of legislation that was voted on in the House last year. The House voted it in, and what it does, it makes specific requirements for voter rolls to be accurate. For new registrations, everybody has to have proof of citizenship. All right, so there's a national effort that's going on in all 50 states right now, and it is for the month of August. It's called Only Citizens Vote Month. All right, very, very important. You'll see this petition, Project Civica is handling it for New York State. And what will happen is we hope to get millions of signatures, and then on September 10th, we'll be going to Washington from 50 states and delivering these to the Senate. Again, it has passed the House. We got to get it to the Senate, pass the Senate, and then President Trump will sign it before the 26 elections. This will help because we could get out our people, and everybody spoke about get people registered, get people out to vote. That's important, but we have to make sure they're legitimate elections. And this is the first step to make that happen. As hard as we're all going to try, if we don't have legitimate elections, we're going to be in trouble. All right? So thank you very much. The table's over there. You can grab a petition, take it with you, sign it, and let's get this done because the fight for New York is on, and that's what Project Civic is all about. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to play some music. Just get the tables set up real quick. Please enjoy yourself. Again, I don't think I have to threaten you. Go over to our table, sign up. Let's get your name, your email, and your phone number. We're not going to spam you. We're just going to keep in touch with you about more and more events and building this movement to stop Mamdani and socialism. Thank you. Stick around. The debate's going to start in probably 15 minutes. Thank you.